Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins have quietly been putting together one of the most impressive seasons in recent years, and while the spotlight often shifts to big markets or headline-grabbing names, there are a number of players on this team who have quietly, methodically, and consistently shown that they deserve recognition on the national stage. With Pro Bowl voting opening up, it's the perfect time to break down the 5 Dolphins who, in a just world, would be headed to Las Vegas this season, representing the AFC and proving that South Florida is home to some of the league's most underrated talent. This isn't about popularity contests or social media hype. This is about performance, consistency, and impact on the field. And the Dolphins have more than a few players who meet that standard in spades, starting at wide receiver. Jalen Waddle has become nothing short of indispensable for Miami. Ever since Tyreek Hill went down with his injury in Week 4 against the Jets, Waddle has stepped up as the team's #1 receiving threat, and he hasn't looked back, with 722 yards through the air this season. He ranks 16th in the entire NFL. A remarkable achievement considering the Dolphins' passing game hasn't been as explosive as it has in previous seasons. Waddle isn't just racking up numbers. He's dominating downfield, leading the team in deep ball targets and ranking 8th in the league with 13.19 air yards per target every time the Dolphins take a shot downfield. Waddle is the one making defenders pay, turning what could be long yardage gambles into consistent, reliable gains. He's become the engine of Miami's offense, the player who forces defenses to respect the passing game even when the team's ground attack is humming. Despite being third among AFC receivers in yards, his impact goes far beyond raw numbers, as his presence on the field opens opportunities for his teammates. And he's a constant threat to turn any catch into a touchdown. Moving to the backfield, De'Von Achane has been nothing short of a revelation this season. He has not only led the Dolphins' running game, but has emerged as one of the most dynamic players in the entire league, ranking 4th in rushing yards with 900. Achane trails only elite talents like Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Yet he's doing it with a style all his own. Achane isn't just a runner, he's a versatile weapon who has contributed 54 catches for 370 yards, proving that he can be just as deadly out of the backfield as he is between the tackles. His improvement in contact balance and vision has been a major factor in Miami's offensive identity this season, allowing the Dolphins to attack defenses with both power and creativity. While star names like Derrick Henry might overshadow him in fan voting, Achane's combination of consistency, explosive ability, and sheer work ethic makes him one of the most deserving candidates for Pro Bowl recognition. He's the kind of player who might not always get the headlines, but is critical to his team's success week in and week out. Defensively, the Dolphins have found a standout leader in linebacker Jordan Brooks. From the start of the season, Brooks has been a tackling machine, on pace to record the second most tackles by a Dolphins linebacker in a single season, and his presence has been felt across the field. He leads the team in tackles, ranks 4th in tackles against the run, and has been a force in stopping plays in the backfield, recording multiple tackles for loss early in the season. Brooks was forced to clean up behind a young and developing defensive line, but as that unit has matured, his impact has only grown. He has added an element of pass rush to his game, recording 11 quarterback pressures and a .5 sacks, showing that he's more than just a traditional tackler. Brooks has quietly become the heart of Miami's defense, the player who keeps the team disciplined and opportunistic. While injury and reputation might boost others like Roquan Smith in the voting, Brooks' combination of consistency, leadership, and all-around impact makes him one of the Dolphins' most deserving of Pro Bowl honors. In the trenches, center Aaron Brewer has been the unsung hero of Miami's offensive line. For the past 2 seasons, Brewer has quietly put together one of the most impressive resumes among NFL centers, combining athleticism, intelligence, and technical skill in a way that allows the Dolphins to run some of the most creative offensive packages in the league. This season, he hasn't allowed a single sack and has given up just 10 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus, demonstrating elite pass protection skills that rival some of the best in the game. Brewer's ability to move laterally, pull on screens, and maintain his balance against powerful interior defenders allows Miami's running game to operate with efficiency and creativity, and his consistency has been critical to the team's offensive success. While the AFC is stacked with centers who have more name recognition, like Creed Humphrey and Tyler Linderbaum, Brewer's performance this season deserves more attention because he not only protects his quarterback but also elevates the entire line, proving that the heart of an offensive line can make a huge difference in the league's most competitive division. Finally, offensive tackle Patrick Paul has quietly emerged as one of the Dolphins' most impressive and reliable players, filling in for the consistently dominant Terron Armstead. Paul has started every game this season after only 3 starts last year, and his improvement has been remarkable. He's allowed just 2 sacks and 12 pressures while frequently being left on an island, showing that he has the physical tools, technique, and mental toughness to compete against some of the league's top edge rushers. His performance against Myles Garrett, where he allowed 0 pressures, is a testament to his ability to rise to the occasion against elite talent. Paul's run blocking has been inconsistent at times, but much of that is a reflection of playing alongside a struggling rookie and the fluidity of Miami's offensive line. While he lacks the name recognition of other high-profile Dolphins, like Minkah Fitzpatrick, Paul's second-year performance is Pro Bowl caliber, and he's a player whose trajectory suggests he will continue to improve and dominate in the years to come. In a league where the Pro Bowl often feels more like a fan popularity contest than a reward for actual performance, the Dolphins have a roster full of players whose impact on the field deserves to be celebrated, from Waddle stretching the field, a chain punishing defenses on the ground and through the air, Brooks leading the defense with relentless energy, Brewer anchoring the line with precision, to Paul holding the fort at tackle. These players exemplify the kind of talent that can elevate a team from good to great. Recognition in the form of Pro Bowl votes might not always follow naturally, especially in a crowded conference with big market names. But for fans of Miami and for football purists who value performance above all else, these 5 players are impossible to overlook. The Dolphins' season has been a story of growth, resilience, and quietly making noise in a league full of distractions. And if the Pro Bowl were a true reflection of who is playing the best football, these 5 would be headed to Las Vegas without question. Every catch, every run, every tackle, and every perfectly executed snap tells the story of a team that is not just building for the future, but is thriving in the present, and the individuals highlighted here are the beating heart of that narrative, proving that the Dolphins have stars who deserve the spotlight. Even if the national media hasn't fully caught up yet, still with us, then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Hold on to your seats, because what just dropped is sending shockwaves across the NFL community. Jalen Ramsey, the star cornerback currently with the Pittsburgh Steelers, just threw a bombshell that no one saw coming, and the ripple effects could be massive. Known for his candid, no-holds-barred approach to speaking his mind, Ramsey has never shied away from sharing his thoughts on teams, players, or the inner workings of the league, but this time, the focus was on a franchise that's been in the spotlight for both on-field talent and off-field drama, the Miami Dolphins. The words he chose weren't subtle, and the timing couldn't be more sensational, according to Ramsey. The environment within the Dolphins organization is horrible, and you can bet that this statement is already creating ripples from the locker rooms to the front offices. The NFL world is buzzing. Fans are talking, and analysts are scrambling to dissect every nuance of what he meant. Because when Jalen Ramsey speaks, it's rarely just casual commentary, it carries weight. Imagine the scene for a moment: a highly respected elite cornerback, someone who's played at the top of his game, who has been in intense locker room situations before, and who knows the difference between good culture and bad, is making such a stark claim. The implications are huge. The Dolphins have been a team on the rise, filled with talent and potential, but Ramsey's words suggest that behind the scenes, things may not be as smooth as they appear on highlight reels. He didn't mince words. He didn't tiptoe around his opinion. Horrible is a strong descriptor, one that implies friction, mismanagement, and perhaps even a toxic atmosphere. Rumors like this don't just get brushed off in the NFL. They ignite conversations, debates, and sometimes even internal investigations. Could this be the beginning of a bigger revelation about the Dolphins? Or is it simply Ramsey speaking from the perspective of someone who has seen enough locker room dynamics to know when things aren't right? What makes this even juicier is the fact that Jalen Ramsey himself has a storied history with speaking his mind. Drafted 5th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2016, After a standout college career at Florida State, Ramsey has always had a flair for confrontation and honesty. He isn't just another player offering a generic, politically safe comment. He's someone who has built a reputation for being outspoken, for holding people accountable, and for calling things as he sees them. His career trajectory from a dominant rookie season with the Jaguars to his blockbuster trade to the Los Angeles Rams, and now his tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers has been marked by bold moves both on and off the field. And now, with this latest commentary on the Dolphins, Ramsey is once again making headlines not just for his play, but for his perspective on the inner workings of one of the NFL's most scrutinized teams. There's a lot to unpack here. When an insider-level player describes a team environment as horrible, it usually points to several layers of dysfunction. It could be disagreements between coaching staff and players, a lack of cohesion in the locker room, misalignment between management and the roster, or simply poor morale among key contributors. The Dolphins, who have been under intense media scrutiny due to their aggressive roster moves and high expectations, are suddenly being painted in a light that few outside their organization would have expected. If Ramsey's comments gain traction, and let's face it, with his profile, they inevitably will, it could lead to serious questions about team leadership, culture, and long-term strategy. Fans who have been riding the wave of optimism may suddenly find themselves second-guessing the stability of a franchise that was supposed to be on the rise. Naturally, speculation is running wild. Pundits are debating whether Ramsey's assessment comes from first-hand observation, insider knowledge, or perhaps conversations with former teammates. Analysts are dissecting the possible motivations behind his statement. Is it simply an honest reflection of what he's seen, or could there be a strategic element, a way to stir the pot and keep the NFL media talking? Either way, the impact of such a remark can't be understated. In a league where perception can influence trades, contract negotiations, and team morale, a public declaration like this carries consequences. Coaches, executives, and even players on the Dolphins roster are likely watching closely, wondering how this will affect team dynamics. Will there be a response from the organization? Will players speak out, or will this simply simmer as a talking point among fans and media, leaving the Dolphins to navigate the storm quietly? The timing of Ramsey's statement adds another layer of intrigue. The NFL is a league that thrives on narrative, and stories like this often become fuel for debates, hot takes, and viral moments. Imagine the locker room discussions when players hear that one of the league's most respected corners publicly labeled their environment as horrible. It's the kind of remark that can unify a team around a common cause, or it could further expose fractures that exist beneath the surface. The Dolphins coaching staff and front office are undoubtedly aware that perception is key in maintaining control over a roster, and now they face the challenge of addressing a narrative that was set in motion by someone outside their organization. Ramsey, with his history of bold statements and fearless demeanor, may have just opened a door that fans, media, and rival teams alike will be eager to peek through. Social media is, of course, ablaze. Fans are dissecting every word, replaying highlights of Ramsey's career, and trying to contextualize why he might feel so strongly about the Dolphins. Some argue that he's simply reflecting the frustrations that many players might feel internally, but are unwilling or unable to articulate publicly. Others suggest that his perspective is rooted in past experiences with team cultures, where he has seen firsthand how even talented rosters can flounder under poor management or toxic environments. In any case, the conversation is far from over. Memes, tweets, and common threads are exploding with speculation, opinions, and debates. And it's clear that this is exactly the kind of buzz that keeps NFL storylines alive and relevant well beyond the games themselves. Let's not forget Ramsey's own credibility in this context. As a player who has been a cornerstone of elite defenses, a Pro Bowler, and a game-changer on the field, his observations carry weight. When he speaks about a team's internal state, people listen. This isn't idle chatter. This is a professional who has experienced the highs and lows of NFL locker rooms, who understands what it takes to build chemistry, and who knows the fine line between confidence and chaos. His description of the Dolphins as having a horrible environment is not just commentary. It's an assessment that invites scrutiny, reflection, and perhaps even a reassessment of what fans and analysts thought they knew about the organization. There's also an undeniable ripple effect that comes with comments like these. Rival teams, scouts, and even prospective free agents will be watching closely. In a league where culture and environment are critical factors in a player's decision to join or stay with a team, this revelation could influence recruitment, retention, and the overall perception of the Dolphins. Questions about leadership, cohesion, and locker room morale are suddenly more urgent than ever, and Ramsey's words have made them impossible to ignore. The Dolphins may now face a situation where internal assessment meets public scrutiny, forcing the organization to confront these issues head-on or risk letting the narrative spiral further at the end of the day. This is classic Jalen Ramsey, fearless, unapologetic, and unfiltered. He knows how to capture attention, and he knows how to influence conversations without even stepping on the field. Whether you agree with him or not, his statement about the Dolphins' environment is now part of the league's ongoing drama, a talking point that will linger in headlines, locker rooms, and sports bars alike. Rumors, speculations, and inside stories are now swirling, and the NFL world is left to wonder what will happen next. Will this lead to changes within the Dolphins organization? Will players respond? Or will it simply remain an explosive observation from one of the league's most outspoken figures, leaving fans to debate its validity for weeks to come? Either way, one thing is certain: Jalen Ramsey has made his mark again, and the ripple effects of this statement are only beginning. The NFL thrives on drama, talent, and personalities, and Ramsey has once again proven that he is at the center of all three. His commentary on the Dolphins is more than just a soundbite, it's a conversation starter, a rumor generator, and a window into the hidden complexities of team dynamics. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike will be watching closely, trying to interpret the meaning behind his words, the possible fallout, and what it might mean for the future of a team that, on paper, seemed poised for success in the world of professional football. Statements like this don't just fade away, they become part of the narrative, shaping perceptions, decisions, and even the legacy of the franchises involved. Jalen Ramsey has spoken, and the league is listening. The question now is, what comes next for the Dolphins? And how will they respond to one of the most explosive assessments we've heard in recent memory? The NFL world has been sent into a whirlwind of speculation after shocking reports emerged that Stephen Ross, the often controversial owner of the Miami Dolphins, has made the stunning decision to part ways with head coach Mike McDaniel. Whispers started circulating almost immediately, hinting at tensions behind the scenes that may have finally reached a breaking point. McDaniel, who had garnered both praise and criticism for his innovative offensive schemes and his sometimes enigmatic approach to leadership, is now suddenly without a post, leaving fans, analysts, and even players themselves scrambling to make sense of what appears to be a seismic shift within the Dolphins organization. Sources close to the team suggest that this was not a decision made lightly, but rather a culmination of months, perhaps years of frustration, strategic disagreements, and the relentless pressure of expectations that seem to never quite align with reality in Miami. What's particularly intriguing about this development is that Stephen Ross has never been shy about making bold, headline-grabbing moves. His history of firing and hiring has always kept the NFL community on edge, and McDaniel's departure is no exception. Rumors indicate that behind the polished veneer of press releases and official statements lies a more complex narrative, allegedly. Internal conflicts regarding offensive philosophy, player utilization, and even locker room culture might have played a role in the split. Sources hint at meetings that were tense and at times confrontational, where Ross reportedly questioned certain strategic decisions and sought assurances that simply weren't being delivered in the way he envisioned. This kind of friction is not uncommon in the NFL, but when the owner himself is actively involved in scrutinizing every call, every personnel choice, and every sideline reaction, it sets the stage for dramatic shifts. Fans on social media have been buzzing nonstop, dissecting every possible scenario for what comes next. The Miami Dolphins have long been a team with both high expectations and, at times, unfulfilled potential, and the idea that the organization is now entering a period of uncertainty has fueled intense speculation. Who will be the next head coach? Will it be someone with a proven track record, or a bold, unconventional choice designed to shake up the league? Rumors are swirling that Ross is looking for someone who can deliver not just wins, but a cultural transformation. A coach capable of galvanizing a roster that has shown flashes of brilliance but often falters under pressure. Insiders hint that several names are already circulating in closed-door conversations, some expected, others entirely surprising. The speculation ranges from seasoned NFL veterans who have spent years climbing the coaching ladder to younger, up-and-coming coordinators who might bring fresh ideas and a different kind of energy to the Dolphins sideline. The timing of this move is also raising eyebrows. Observers are questioning whether this is purely a football decision or if other factors, personal dynamics, management strategies, even the ever-present influence of media narratives played a role. Stephen Ross is known for being a hands-on owner, one who has historically not shied away from putting his stamp on every major decision. Reports suggest that in recent months, Ross had become increasingly frustrated with what he perceived as a lack of alignment between McDaniel's vision and his own aspiration for the franchise. While McDaniel has been lauded for his innovative offensive schemes, particularly his creative use of play action and zone runs, the narrative emerging from sources close to the organization implies that results alone may not have been enough to satisfy Ross's ambitions. Meanwhile, the ripple effects of this decision are already being felt throughout the locker room. Players reportedly are processing the news with a mix of shock, concern, and cautious optimism, depending on their relationship with McDaniel and their confidence in what comes next. Some veterans are said to be weighing their future with the team, contemplating how a change in leadership could impact their roles, their contracts, and the overall trajectory of their careers. Young players, on the other hand, are facing the uncertainty of whether the next coaching regime will continue to prioritize their development or overhaul the roster in ways that could fundamentally shift team dynamics. Rumors from within the Dolphins facility suggest that some players have been in formal sounding boards for the front office, their opinions quietly sought as Ross and his executives map out potential candidates for the head coach role. This kind of engagement, while not unprecedented, indicates the level of strategic planning that is likely happening behind closed doors. As the speculation intensifies, analysts across the league are offering endless scenarios, debates, and predictions. Some argue that the Dolphins are positioned to land a marquee name, a coach whose reputation alone could immediately energize the fan base and signal a new era. Others suggest that Ross might be looking for a disruptor, someone willing to challenge conventions, innovate aggressively, and perhaps take calculated risks that others might shy away from. The rumor mill is abuzz with names ranging from well-known offensive masterminds to defensive strategists who could redefine the Dolphins' identity. There are even whispers of cross-sport influence, with Ross potentially entertaining unconventional approaches, bringing in voices from outside the traditional NFL coaching pool to inject a different kind of mindset into the team. Media outlets, podcasts, and fan forums have become a hotbed of theories and speculation. Every press conference, every cryptic tweet, and every minor personnel move is being scrutinized for hidden clues about the future of the Dolphins sideline. Some reports suggest that the team's front office is actively in talks with multiple candidates, conducting preliminary evaluations and even setting up informal interviews. Though nothing is official yet, the narrative emerging from these discussions paints a picture of an owner determined to make a statement, someone willing to gamble big in the pursuit of long-term success, and a franchise prepared to embrace both uncertainty and possibility in equal measure. Ultimately, the story of Mike McDaniel's departure from the Miami Dolphins is about more than just a coaching change. It is a window into the complex, high-stakes world of NFL leadership, where ambition, ego, strategy, and expectation collide in ways that often leave fans and media grasping for answers. While McDaniel's future remains uncertain, the focus now shifts to who will step into the void and how the Dolphins will navigate this critical juncture. Stephen Ross has signaled, intentionally or not, that he is willing to shake the foundations of the organization in pursuit of a vision that is uniquely his own. The coming weeks are certain to be filled with rumors, speculation, and dramatic developments, as the Dolphins' search for a head coach becomes one of the most compelling storylines in the league. The combination of high stakes, intriguing personalities, and the potential for transformative change makes this a narrative that is far from over, leaving fans, analysts, and players alike on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the next chapter in the ever-unpredictable saga of Miami Dolphins football. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!